Toontastic, and welcome to Toon Corner. And today we'll be talking about some Toontastic facts about Popeye the Sailor Man. For this list, we'll be talking about the Toon Star himself, his movies, TV shows, and more. Let's get started. Popeye was created by E.C. Cigar for a comic strip series called Thimble Theater in 1929. He first started off as a small supporting character, but over time he eventually became so popular that he eventually became the main star. The inspiration for Popeye came from E.C. Cigar's childhood. While growing up in Chester, Illinois, he knew a sailor named Frank Rocky Fiegel. Frank and Popeye basically share the same facial features. They both had a pipe, and both of them were very strong. In the comic strip series, Popeye has gained his superhuman strength by petting a wiffle hen. However, there was actually a comic strip where Popeye, was able to fight to the finish because he ate his spinach. In the comic strip, the spinach was used as a one-time gag. So when the Fleischer brothers got the rights to Popeye, they basically took that gag and ran with it. And that's basically how spinach became part of Popeye's legacy. Popeye's first cartoon was a Betty Boop cartoon called Popeye the Sailor. In the cartoon, we were introduced to Popeye, Bluto, and Olive Oil, and Betty Boop made a small cameo appearance. A lot of the Popeye cartoons that were made by the Fleischer brothers were in black and white, but there was actually 3 Popeye cartoons that were made in color, and they would run for 16 to over 20 minutes long. They would go under the title called the Popeye Color Features. The Popeye Color Features are Popeye meets Sinbad the Sailor, Popeye meets Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves, and Aladdin and his Wonderful Lamp. Popeye had his very first TV animated series during the 1960s, and the series was made by Keen Feature Syndicate. How Keen Feature Syndicate made the series, they basically hired other studios to work on the cartoons. So, for example, they would have one cartoon made by Jack Kinney and his studio, while the other cartoon would be made by Gene Deitch and his studio. When Hanna-Barbera was making animated shows starring Popeye during the 1970s and 80s, they had this rule where Popeye couldn't punch people and Popeye and Bluto can't fight over olive oil. So that's why there has been some episodes where Popeye, for example, Popeye would just simply pick up Bluto and just toss him in the water. The big reason why the live-action Popeye movie was made was because Paramount originally wanted to make a musical version of a comic strip series called Little Orphan Annie. Unfortunately, they have lost a bidding war with Columbia, so they were unable to get the rights to Annie. So the executives at Paramount were like, "Alright, we lost a bidding war, so what comic strip character do we have that we can turn into a musical?" And one guy basically said, "Well, we got Popeye." And the executives were like, "Great, let's get this production started." The live-action Popeye movie was the first time that Robin Williams actually starred in a movie. Before Popeye, Robin was simply a stand-up comedian who performed as Mork from Ork for a sitcom called Mork and Mindy. Popeye had a TV movie that eventually went to direct to DVD, and it was called Popeye's Voyage: The Quest for Pappy. It was a computer animated movie made by Mainframe Entertainment, the same studio that brought us Hot Wheels World Race. In Popeye's Voyage: The Quest for Pappy, Billy West took on the role as Popeye. And it was actually the roughest role he had ever taken. Basically, the best way Billy described doing Popeye's voice is that basically it was like a buzzsaw to the throat. So after recording Popeye's dialogue, he would go to a hotel room and guzzle down a bunch of honey. Ever since the mid-2010s, people have been talking about a possible animated movie starring Popeye, and it would be directed by Genndy Tartakovsky. So far we have seen an animation test, but we don't know for sure if the movie itself would ever be made. There are actually so far two reasons why we have never seen a animated Popeye movie yet. One, Genndy and Sony Animation had some creative differences. And two, Sony was like, "You know what kids enjoy these days? Emojis. So why not we go ahead and make a movie about them, huh? I'm sure kids would love it." And the question of the day is, what is your favorite Popeye cartoon? Just let me know in the comment section down below. Feel free to add requests. And I'll see you next time in Toon Corner.